I have been stuck on a pull-up plateau for years, and that is going to change. I've had a few videos in a row covering the same kind of topic, so it's time to confuse the YouTube algorithm and make sure my channel never experiences any meaningful growth by talking about something else entirely.
And now for something completely different.
If you're new here, I'm a long distance runner, but I have been doing some form of calisthenics for at least 10 years, a little bit more probably. However, the problem is I've never really put a lot of effort into honing any specific calisthenics skills. So what I can do is just what I can do based off about a decade of consistent but not very specific training. Now, I've set a couple of baselines this week so I know where I'm at. I can do a max pull-up set of 11 pull-ups, and I can do a 1 rep max pull-up of 18.75 kilograms. I did attempt 20 kilograms twice, but as you can probably see from the video I'm showing, I got my forehead about level with the bar, which I don't think counts. Compared to the general population, obviously those numbers are pretty good. Most people can't do a pull-up. However, for someone who's been able to do pull-ups for about a third of their life, I don't think those figures are good enough. So in terms of initial goals that I want to set, I feel like being able to do 20 pull-ups in a row is ambitious but achievable, and I'd like to get to about 50% of my body weight for a 1 rep max. Again, pretty ambitious, but I feel it's achievable if I'm consistent and I stick with my plan. How are we going to tackle this then? It's not going to be entirely optimal. I have other training that is actually the primary focus of my training, so upper body stuff is kind of a side project. There will be 1 dedicated pull-up session a week. I usually go bouldering twice a week, and I will be doing some bits and pieces on a more daily basis. During my bouldering sessions, I will be doing a little bit of additional pull-up work as part of the warm-up for the bouldering session itself. None of this is going to be particularly groundbreaking or complicated, but if I can stick to it and be consistent for weeks and months, then I think we can get somewhere. So at the point that we're starting this project at, I am 31 years old and I'm roughly 60 kilograms. My main pull-up workout each week will look something a bit like this. We'll have a little bit of dynamic mobility in the warm-up, and then we'll move on to a scapular pull pyramid, where I start off with normal scapular pulls, and then stage 2 scapular pulls, and then partial pull-ups. I may extend the warm-up to include some full range pull-ups depending on how I'm feeling. We'll then move into 2 sets of 1 rep explosive pull-up attempts. This first bit of the workout is just a bit of skill development. I would like to get my pull-ups a lot higher as well, so this is part of that. We'll then move on to 3 sets of 3 reps of explosive pull-ups using the band. Again, we're just trying to work on the skill here. At the moment, I feel like my range of motion is pretty good. I can get to my sternum on these, but you can kind of tell in the later reps that it drops a bit and I don't get quite as high. So the idea will be to build this up over time. Then move on to 3 reps of 3 weighted pull-ups. So this is another element of the workout that I'm going to expand over time. So we start off with 3 sets of 3 reps, and then as I get comfortable with that, I will extend it to 3 sets of 4 reps, 3 sets of 5 reps, and then when that feels comfortable, we will move to 4 sets of 3 reps and just keep increasing it like that. We'll then do 5 sets of 3 reps where I try and do the concentric portion of the pull-up as fast as I can, and then just do a really controlled eccentric. Then a couple of sets of Aussie rows for probably about 10 reps. Depend a bit on how I'm feeling each day and how tired my arms are from the rest of the workout, but between 8 and 10 reps. And then again, depending on how I'm feeling, maybe a couple of sets of commando pull-ups just to work in a little bit of additional muscle work. On days where I either have a bit of extra time or I'm working at home in the morning and I'm sat at the desk a lot, what I'm going to do is on 2 days a week is use the grease the groove method, where I'll essentially get up from my desk every 20 minutes to half an hour and try and do as many pull-ups as I can. So that's probably going to be between 8 and 10 reps most days, because depending on what time of day it is and the fact that I won't have warmed up, I'm probably not going to be able to get to my PB of 11 reps. So I'll just try and do as many as I can and use that as a little bit of a movement break if I'm going to be sat at the desk for most of the morning or afternoon, depending. The approach during the bouldering sessions will be something similar. I'll do my scapular pull pyramid as part of the warm-up, and then I'll probably do a set of max rep pull-ups before I start my main climbing warm-up. And then depending on how I'm feeling at the end of the session, maybe I'll try and do another max set of pull-ups. So this isn't optimal. I'm not going to pretend it's optimal, but I think if I can stick to it consistently, I'll make some decent progress. Part of why I'm doing this is because I just want to break through this plateau. I've been sat here for a long time and I don't think it's good enough that I can only do 11 reps and I can only lift under 30% of my body weight for 1 rep. And I'm coaching a few of my clients through how to do pull-ups at the moment, and while I kind of have a good grasp of how to develop pulling strength. I feel it will make me a better coach if I can break my own plateau. It's been so long since I learned how to do a pull-up, I sort of need to put myself in a position where I feel like a beginner again and challenge myself to do something that is, at the moment, beyond the scope of my ability, but if I work at it, then I'll be able to get there. I'm going to check in on this project every 8 weeks or so, but most of the rest of the content on this channel is more running oriented and outdoorsy stuff. If that sounds interesting to you, then subscribe and like the video. If that does not sound interesting to you, then I don't know, don't subscribe. Don't like the video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.